everybody, this is Dawson. I'm back with another Mission Impossible movie review for you today. Today I'm going to be reviewing the fifth Mission Impossible movie, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, released in 2015, directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who will later go on to direct Mission Impossible Fallout, Dead Reckoning, and The Final Reckoning. And the film stars Tom Cruise, Jeremy Renner, Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, Rebecca Ferguson, Sean Harris, and Alec Baldwin. And the basic plot of Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, according to the internet, is as follows. The film follows the Impossible Missions Force, IMF, agent Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, and his team, who, subsequent to their disbandment and Hunt's pursuit by the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, must fight the Syndicate, an international group of rogue government agents. And that's your basic plot of Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, well, this is, in my opinion, where the Mission Impossible series gets even better than the previous four movies. Christopher Landon's the horror director. Christopher McQuarrie knows how to direct a Mission Impossible movie. And boy, oh boy, does he direct this movie great. This is a great Mission Impossible movie. In fact, it's one of the best Mission Impossible movies obviously since the first one. But, yeah, I love Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I think this is a brilliant movie. This is well shot, it's well written, it's well acted, it's well scripted. The action scenes in this movie are great, which we'll get into in a minute. The cast of this movie is great, which we'll get into in a minute. The cinematography in this movie is great. It's very well edited. The cinematography in this movie is great. The music, the music in this movie is great. Everything about this movie is great. It's brilliant. You've got great director, Christopher McQuarrie. I don't know why I keep saying Christopher Landon. That's the horror director. But this movie is brilliant. Tom Cruise still kills it as Ethan Hunt. He does great in the fight scenes and the action scenes. I mean, of course, Tom Cruise with his stunts. Tom Cruise does his own stunts. One of the biggest stunts in this movie is at the beginning of the movie, the beginning action scene, where Ethan's trying to get a package that's on a plane, and he basically runs and jumps onto the plane, and he's trying to get into the plane, and he's holding on for dear life outside of the plane. That's just one of the best stunts and the best action scenes in this movie. And there's more. There's a lot more. But yeah, Tom Cruise is Ethan Hunt. He's brilliant in this movie. You've got Jeremy Renner back in this movie as William Brent, the IMF agent, who basically has to help the IMF when it gets disbanded. So I liked Jeremy Renner. Simon Pegg as Benji Dunn. He's very good. He's basically the technician of the group. And then you have newcomer Rebecca Ferguson as Elsa, who is an undercover agent for the Syndicate, but then she later on helps Ethan take down the syndicate. So I like her. You have Vig Rhames as Luther, Ethan's best friend. He's very good. I like him. Sean Harris as Solomon Lane. That's the villain of this movie. Sean Harris is brilliant as the villain. He's a terrific villain. He's great as the villain of this movie. I love him as the villain. And of course, he comes back in the sequel, Mission Impossible Fallout, which we'll talk about next time. But Sean Harris as the villain is great. And then you have Simon McBurney as Atlee. He's the founder of the Syndicate. I guess you could say that he's the secondary villain in this movie. So I guess you could say there's two villains. Sean Harris being the main villain, and then Simon McBurney as the secondary villain. So I like him. And then you have Alec Baldwin joining the cast as director Alan Hunley, who basically shuts down the IMF and tries to frame Ethan Hunt as a terrorist. So he's very good. You've got, like I said, you've got excuse me, you've got great action scenes in this movie. Of course, you got the opening action scene that kicks off the movie. You've got the opera scene. That's very good. There's a great fight scene with Ethan Hunt and Elsa, where Ethan's in a prison, or he's somewhere, and he's chained. He's chained up, and he has to fight the bad guys and get out. That's a pretty cool scene. What else is there? There's the record store scene that Ethan goes into after the main action scene at the beginning. There's a great motorcycle chase in the film. What else is there? There's the I'm trying to think of what other action scenes there are. I like the action scene at the end, the ending action scene, where Ethan basically has to try to save Benji, who's been what's the word? It's something happens to Benji, and Ethan has to help. Ethan has to try and figure out how to save him. Then you have the capture of Solomon Lane. That's good. I really would have loved to see him and Ethan fight. I really would have loved if there was a fight scene of him and Ethan fighting. That would have been pretty cool to see. But we didn't get it. But oh well. I think that's it for the action scenes. There's a chase scene that I really like. Forgot about that. Trying to think if there's anything else that I missed. I think that's it. I think that's all that I've covered. Obviously, this is a brilliant movie. Christopher McQuarrie's direction. See, I said it right that time. Christopher McQuarrie's direction of the film is great. Tom Cruise is great. The cast is great. The music's great. The cinematography is great. The action scenes are great. So, I mean, everything about this movie is great. It's a brilliant movie, and I'm really excited to see how the Final Reckoning is. And if the Final Reckoning ends up being the final Mission Impossible movie, which I highly doubt it will, I think Tom Cruise said that he could play Ethan Hunt till the day he dies, which I hope he does. but we'll see. So on a scale of 1 to 4 stars, I'm gonna give Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation a perfect 4 out of 4 stars. So 4 out of 4 stars for Mission Impossible: the Rogue Nation. I cannot speak today. A perfect 4 out of 4 stars for Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. And that's my view of Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. So next time I will be back to talk about the 6th Mission Impossible movie, Mission Impossible Fallout from 2018. So this is Dawson. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe down below. And I'll see you next time on another movie review. Bye.